This is the weather forecast video for Thursday, December 29th, 2011. Let's take a look at the satellite image from last evening. You'll see a weak disturbance over the upper Midwest and western Great Lakes, producing a bit of light rain, freezing rain, sleet, and a little bit of snow there, with a much larger system over the Pacific Northwest producing some heavier amounts of precipitation. Watch warning map from just before midnight shows some winter weather issues over the northern Rockies, some high wind watches and warnings over Montana down into Wyoming, and some freezing rain and winter weather advisories from North Dakota into Wisconsin. The QPF chart, precipitation over the next 5 days through Monday evening at 6 o'clock, shows some fairly heavy amounts of precipitation over the Pacific Northwest with system after system there, with lighter amounts across the Midwest and into the Great Lakes and New England. Let's take a look at the 0Z GFS Model Run at 6 p.m. this evening. See a piece of energy coming down from the Rockies into the northern high plains, with another one about to move into the Pacific Northwest once more. The surface, a bit of a disturbance moving across the northern plains, North and South Dakota, be sweeping through very late tonight into Friday, with a bit of rain, sleet, and maybe a little bit of snow there. By Friday and Friday evening, that moved off to the east. Skies will once again clear out, and really no cold air behind it, so temperatures by Saturday will be back up into the 40s again. But yet again, here comes another system, and this one is going to bring colder air with it and maybe a little bit of light rain or maybe even some light sleet or snow. By Sunday, that's moved off, but the real story, the cold weather. But with the lack of snow, or in this case no snow on the ground, temperatures will not cool as far as they would, likely down around 30 to 33, which continues into the beginning of next week, Monday. With high pressure over about Tulsa, we'll see some cool temperatures, the lows in the teens, highs in the lower to middle 30s. Temperatures begin to moderate a little bit heading into Tuesday, maybe mid-30s, lows still in the mid to upper teens, just slightly above average for the early part of January. That continues into Wednesday with another high pressure just to our northwest, but you can see the warm air building just off to our west, and that eventually wins the fight heading into a week from today. We see a fairly deep trough axis over the eastern part of the country, and another one moving into the west with a ridge developing over the Rockies and Plains, and that means warm air is coming back, and that could bring temperatures back to and over 40 degrees, and the snow drought looks to continue. We head further into the month. On January the 9th, you see a trough axis moving across the upper Midwest and western Great Lakes with a huge ridge over the west coast, and that could bring a few flurries or a light snow shower, but nothing of any substantial accumulations there, with another system moving into the west. And at the end of the forecast, on the 13th, a big ridge pumping up all the way into Alaska. That's going to bring the Arctic air down into the United States, and with a system nearby, that's going to bring what could be some heavy snow. How many times have we seen that this year with these systems well out in the future and they never happen? We'll see what happens here with this one. Thank you for tuning in to the weather forecast video. We'll have another one tomorrow.